guys.
Hey, man.
Hi.
How are you guys doing? I'm very pleased to see second season.
So are we?
Yeah.
You guys were at the Screen Awards last night and you're presenting on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I mean, I think it says a lot that you guys have been really the first new comedy that's done well. I think you've trampled on a few other shows as you've survived along.
Yeah, you know, we were always proud of, you know, the first season, and to now, you know, for it to air and to get a great response from, you know, the audience and develop a really cool fan base.
And moving into the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it was sold to the CW, you know, so like all these things, and you know, the 8 nominations, and voted the #1 comedy out of, you know, the critics. There's just like all these things that, you know, sure you hope for.
It's still so exciting to hear all those things, you know?
You know,
It doesn't wear off.
We were proud of it, and you know, from the beginning, and so to hear that kind of response is it's rewarding.
It really is rewarding.
Well, I love the fact that the other side of this is you guys get to build and build, and it does sound like you've got a kind of clear vision for where things are going. So tell us a little bit about the second season. We start out, maybe there's a little chemistry going on that someone didn't expect.
Yeah, in general, I think you're going to see a lot of chemistry deepen within the characters on a whole. But specifically with Rose and Harry, we saw a little glimmer of it in the first season, and then all of a sudden they have this tiny human between the two of them to take care of. And I think that really roots them and grounds them, and out of that place of being a little bit more mature and having a little bit more responsibility, maybe some sparks fly again.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting for Harry because you know, he goes through such an evolution in the first season, just, you know, finding out he's got kids and, you know, dealing with this new family. In the second season, he has matured so much, and he is more of a father. He's taking on more responsibility, and so he's discovering new things about himself that he didn't expect, you know, and some of those things are, you know, related to Rose, and
as far as Rose goes too, I mean, this is something she's wanted. She's wanted to be a mom and start her own family, and I think, you know, at the best of times, this relationship she's developed with Harry is just a little bonus for her as well.
Now, do they end up together? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I love, though, too, even watching the first episode of the second season, I have to admit that I could sense there's a little bit of maturity seeping in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no, absolutely. It's, you know, the first season was great. We really had a great time, and it was really, you know, I say that we had our feet on the ground in the first season. Second season, it feels like we're really digging in, you know, and we're really, you know, developing these strong roots. You feel the show mature, you know, as the characters and the relationships have matured. You feel the show, the series mature, which is awesome to see.
And that's, again, just the great part about having the opportunity to do a second season. You know, personally, all of our relationships deepened as well, and we got even more comfortable with the crew, and we got even more comfortable with each other on set, and I think that does translate. And
it's like anything, you know, when you have that second opportunity, and you've been able to now watch the first season, you know, you can, you know, again, it was great, but you're always growing, and you're always looking at, you know, things that maybe you can do differently, and that you like, that you're going to continue to do, and some things you might tweak. So,
and I could even guess that there's a bit of, I've heard this from other shows too, that when you get that fan response, you also can kind of deepen what it means to them and for you to kind of figure that out. Is that true?
Well, absolutely. I think that you know, as the actor watching, you know, there are things that you adjust, you know, and that you kind of you like what you're doing, that you would fix or tweak, to then get the fan response, you know, and to see, you know, what they're gravitating to. Again, it's one of those things where we had such a great time shooting it, that when we had that response from the fans, you have them, you carry them with you, and you know, you do certain things, and you have them in mind.
Totally.
So it's like you know that they're going to love this moment or that moment.
But you can't wait to find out if they're going to love this moment or that moment.
Exactly. And we have great fans.
I was just going to say, we're so you know, lucky to have the fan base we have, and we're pretty confident with the second season they're going to love it just as much,
Yeah.
and maybe even get a few more fans on board.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm curious, what's it like going into a second season with the character? Because obviously, does it evolve how you're playing this person?
Oh, absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it was for me, going into the second season was easier in some ways and harder in some ways. You know, easier in the sense that we've already done the first season, so you know, there's this muscle memory of, you know, how, you know, we were block shooting the season, so you know that you got to prepare this way, and that's coming up, and you can anticipate, you know, the structure.
All those growing pains we went through in the first season.
Right, is now easy.
Yeah.
Right.
The harder part was at least for myself, the character, because it goes through such an evolution, and we pick up 8 months into you know, their lives to go through that character work. And not only has he evolved in that first season, but he's evolved over those 8 months that we haven't seen, you know, and that hasn't been written. So it's about developing that history to then be able to play the character honestly.
And I would say, for myself, having never been a mom, learning how
You're
to...
not a mother?
No. I know of.
Oh.
No, it was, you know, it was a little bit, it was scary, and I was excited for the challenge. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but it is amazing what happens when you've got a great crew and a great writing team and a great co-star. Everything does sort of fall into place. Matt Bear.
Yeah, Matt Bear.
But no, you.
Oh, thank you.
We just have a lot of fun, and you figure it out as you go. We do the character work, and you just get to go and play.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious, if you had to guess, what would you say the relationship was like over those 8 months that we're not seeing? What do you think Harry thinks of her and vice versa? Like, what happened throughout those 8 months?
Right. Well, you know, I think that
Was Harry at the bar all the time? Did he ever come
I
back?
don't think that's what's interesting is that in those 8 months, I think Harry started really developing more of that, you know, fatherly, you know, role, being more responsible, and so whereas you know in season 1 he would go from the bar and pick up a woman and take her back to, you know, his loft and, you know, have some good times. You know, I think in those 8 months suddenly that became less, and it was leaving the bar and going to Rose's apartment to help with the baby and do late night feedings and giving her a break to sleep. So I think that growth happened, you know, where suddenly he was able to move on from that stage in his life, which is, I think, is a hard thing. I think it's a hard thing in general. You know, in you know, real life, you find out you're having a child, you have to let go of a certain stage and then move on to take care of, you know, this little human, you know, human alien.
This little stranger, this little tiny stranger.
Yeah.
No, I would like to think that in those 8 months, that transition, that growth for Harry and for Rose happened really organically. I sort of see them just sort of stepping into these roles for each other and helping out and trying to stay mature about the situation. I really feel, I don't know, I feel like that's how that would have gone.
I agree.
Yeah.
She probably had to, like, knock him over the head a couple of times.
Probably.
But, you know, he would, all right.
Yeah. But, and you know what? It might even be something that Harry teaches Rose something about being a mom.
Sure.
You know, like, that's how you will be. That's the way Rose will be, you know.
Right.
Well, that begs the question, what's it like with your new little co-star? I mean, you're not a parent, are you? Or
Not that I know of.
No, not that you know. So, I mean, this must be... Right. But this must be pretty unique for two non-parents to have a little co-star that you're kind of taking care of a little.
Well, you know, we were so lucky because they're twins,
Right.
William and Jack, and they were like freakishly good.
So
you know,
better at
kept like
continuity
knocking on wood because they had their stuff together, and it was amazing how they would like play to camera and like smile and even cry on cue when we needed them to. It was surprisingly easy.
It really was easy with them, and we're again just lucky that they were great, but also their mom who was on set was so generous and kind, and you know, was open for us to ask questions, and we really wanted to learn. We hold the twins exactly how she would, because we wanted them to be comfortable, and she was really, you know, extended herself for us, and that was...
We really didn't want the babies to ever leave the set.
No, never. We look at our schedule.
Oh, you're going? Okay, all right.
Bye the whole time. And every character, every cast member that got the opportunity to play with them was just like instant love.
You had to hold yourself back, honestly, because then it would have been just like too overwhelming, and everybody wanted a piece of the baby. So.
The last thing I really want to know is, you know, does this make you want to be parents? Not together necessarily, sorry, but you know.
Later.
Yeah. But you know, there is a certain, you know, you're getting an early opportunity almost to experience what, you know, raising a child is like.
I've always wanted a family. I've always wanted kids. But this has shown me I'm not ready yet. Not yet. Yeah. I got some time. But I definitely, I mean, yes, I would love to have kids and have a family sometime soon, maybe.
Yeah, well, I mean.
Not like this soon. In the next 5, 10, maybe 15 years.
Right.
That's soon, right? That's
soon.
Soonish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm similar. I think I always wanted to be a mom, and then I really, even before being cast as Rose, it was something I was like, oh, I think I really do want this. And then playing a pregnant woman in the first season, I was like, this is I would stand, and we would all kind of like stand around and rub the belly as though it was real, and I would, you know, and you fall into it, and there is an ease, which I think is deceptive, because when I actually am pregnant and I don't get to just take the belly off at the end of the day, it might be a little different. And I guess it would be the same with being a parent. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
You know, it's one of those things where once you have a kid, it all changes.
Everything
because it's now, you know, that's your priority.
As a new father, I can tell you.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes.
We're great
Absolutely.
babysitters.
Yeah, well, truly, we are.
We really are.
Yeah. So we'll leave you our number.
Awesome.
And,
Perfect. Yeah. When you have spare time, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
How old?
We can multitask.
7 months.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So you're
so
going
very
through
similar.
this.
Almost exactly. Yeah.
That's great.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.